Hey guys, A&Y here. I just saw a video by Hemant Mehta, or also known as the Atheist Voice, who talked about the 3 reasons why it is a good thing to live together before marriage. And he only tackled the topic of premarital sex very shortly, probably because he didn't want to open this can of worms. He went down the line like, well, people are afraid that you might have sex when you live together. But he didn't went into that anymore. But this is pretty much where I pick up right now, because I present to you 5 reasons to have sex before marriage. Number 1, knowing about your partner's sexuality is a really big advantage and something you should have cleared up before deciding to spend the rest of life with each other. Sex is a really big part of marriage. It's pretty much the only reason why marriage is such a big thing and has laws protecting it, because it is an institution that is supposed to ensure our species' reproduction. So denying that sex is a big part of marriage is kind of ignorant. And even if you personally are like, oh, I'm not so much into sex after all, I don't consider it as a big deal, maybe you are even asexual, which is completely cool, but how can you be sure that your partner thinks the same way if the only reason you bring up why you don't want to have sex is because you're not married? If you are both asexual and you talked about it and you agree, that's a completely different issue. Then cool for you, then you found the right partner for you. But imagine your partner actually has a very strong libido, but you both only say, oh no, we are not having sex because we are not married. But as soon as you are married, you can't avoid it anymore. And if it then turns out that you are not interested at all, or you have some kind of deviation your partner finds completely offensive, you both are screwed and your sex life will suck. So not a good advice. Better you know it before you get married and sign a contract to spend the rest of your life with each other. Number 2, you can gain a lot of experience that will not only help you with number 1, knowing your partner and knowing how to please this person, but it will also reveal a lot about yourself, what you are into, how you feel about stuff. I mean, imagine this, you are a teen, your hormones are raising and you probably start imagining about sex and so on. And how are you supposed to relate what you're actually into if you never experienced it? So maybe you have this fantasy of this one position, this is completely great and you're totally into, and then the first time you have it, you really realize like, oh crap, I'm not this person I always imagined I am. I think this is completely bullshit. So yeah, once again, learn something about yourself, and not to mention that having had sex with more than one person previously, you probably learn a few tricks you and your new partner will never discover on yourselves. So you actually profit from it. People often talk about having something special with your partner when you wait until marriage, but how special can it be compared to people who actually know what they're doing and who have a lot of tricks and who are actually able to pleasure their partner in a very special way? Number 3, far too high expectations. If you wait for, I don't know, let's say you get married in your mid-20s, which is kind of early nowadays depending where you're living, but you have to wait until you hit puberty over 10 years ago and you fantasized about it and you read about it and you watched movies about it. Your expectations will be to the heavens. And how will reality ever be able to please all these expectations? It is doomed to be a disappointment for you when you just have all those expectations build up over a decade at least. And it all turns out to be just in your head, and that the real deal, great as it is, cannot live up to what you fantasized about all the time. Which is kind of related to number 4. The first time nearly always sucks. If your first time was the greatest experience you ever had, hey, good for you. You are one lucky bastard. But for most people it is a series of awkwardness, of trying to figure things out, of feeling insecure, and feeling a lot of pressure like, oh my god, I have to do it right and everything. Now, congratulations if you wait until marriage. Your first intimate experience with your new husband or wife will be one big disappointment. You're shooting yourself into the foot when you wait so long. And if you're such a traditionalist and are like, oh, I wait until marriage, you probably even want to do the big romantic thing in your wedding night. So your plan is to have the first time sex with all your inexperience and naivety about this and lack of knowledge. In the night after one of the longest and most exhausting days of your life? Honestly, I wouldn't want to do that. I know of enough couple who actually did not have sex in their honeymoon night because, well, they had an exhausting day and, well, they had plenty of sex before. There was no reason to make it in this night as well. They were just happy that they had each other, that they signed this contract and that they could sleep together, cuddled close to each other. And you have no problem missing out on the great honeymoon night sex if you already had a lot and if you know how your partner is and if you feel comfortable around him or her. Last but not least, number 5, sex is fun. It is a really great experience, so why do you want to without for so long? It is kind of stupid. I mean, I don't want to say that all sex is great. You can really have horrible sex, but if this is the case, you're doing something different wrong. It's not because you're not married, then you are doing it for the wrong reasons. But if you are having sex with a person you love for the right reasons, it is a really, really great experience. And, well, if the partner changes, then you can have this great and special experience with somebody else as well. And if you want to bring up God in that equation, let's just assume that there is a God. He or she made it such a great feeling. So how can you reason that it is against God's will to have sex before marriage? Sounds kind of stupid to me. And if actually your God is demanding to prove your faith by resisting this urge to do something he intentionally made a great experience, then he's just a sadistic asshole and doesn't deserve you worship him at all. So yeah, those were my 5 reasons why you should have sex before marriage. But I want to point out, I'm not talking about casual sex, fucking around, something like this. I'm pretty much talking about having sex with your partner, having sex with a person you are close to and not one-night stands or something like this. I had my own fair share of experiences with casual sex and I will talk about it in a different video, but this is for another time. This is ANY saying opinion counts.